Welcome to Playing Cards Symmetry. In this project, you're going to create a playing card of some kind of a theme using symmetry as the anchor that kind of holds it down. If you look at regular classic cards, they've got symmetry. Make sure and read this stuff. And we've got some great examples. And then finally, when you're going to start this project, you can grab this template. You can make your own page if you want to, but you can also grab this template. So I'm going to click and just drag this to my desktop, or you can tap and hold if you've got a tablet. So that's our first step. The second step is figuring out the theme. For me, I searched up Howling Wolves because I thought it might get a wolf themed playing card. And I found this picture right here. You can see how specific I was. Wolf head, howl, photo. So I knew exactly what I wanted. You may search around for a little while and figure out what you want exactly. Once I found a photo, I clicked on it to make it bigger, and now I'm going to do the same thing as I just did with the template. I'm going to grab that and just drag it to my desktop, making sure that it's a format that works. Sometimes you get a format that doesn't work, like a WebP. That's not going to work, so you can search around and find the best thing. Once you have that, you can go on over to Pixlr, and we're going to use Pixlr E. If you're using Adobe Photoshop, or if you're using Adobe Fresco, or if you're using Medibang or Ibis Paint X, there's so many different apps that you can use. They all look and work in the same general way, so you can use your favorite. This one is free and easy to use. I'm just going to drag. Oh, hold on, don't make that mistake. You're going to drag the template first. So the template is just going to make the page the proper size, and it's also already got a card backing on it. Again, feel free to use your own if you'd like to. The second thing you're going to drag in is the photo that you want to use. So I'm going to drop that in, and right away it asks me if I want to create a new project or add to the current one. So make sure you add to the current one. Otherwise, you'll actually end up with tabs up here and you'll have two projects open. So don't do that. That's confusing. Now I have my wolf. I know I want to make it symmetrical, and I know I need to fit it on the card. So what I'll do is I'm going to make sure that I'm on the Arrange or Select button for most apps, and I'm going to click on my photo, and I can scale it. I can shrink it. I can scale it down. And I'm going to make it just generally the right size so that if I duplicated it, if I copied it, it will fit neatly on both sides of the card. So that looks great right there. And you can see this layer is locked down here, which is great. The background doesn't need to move and you don't need to edit it at all. And then I have my actual photo. So what do I need to do to make this symmetrical? What I'm going to need to do first is I'm actually going to cut this thing out. I want the wolf just by itself without the background. So I'll show you how to do that. There's a few ways. And then once it's all perfect and ready, then I'll duplicate it or cut and paste and then arrange everything nicely. So the way you can cut anything out is going to the lasso right over here. And then I typically use the polygon because it's hard to draw with a mouse. If you're using a tablet, you may end up wanting to use just a regular lasso, but that's up to you. And so the basic way, the way that that works really nicely on any photo is if you zoom in, you grab this poly lasso. Whoops, I made a mistake there, so I pressed escape. There we go. I wanted to move around. And so zooming in is going to make this way easier for you. I'm actually going to start on the outside of the photo and just cut in. So you can see the fur on this wolf is really thick, and sometimes it will be very detailed and fluffy. So I'm going to take some of the details out just because each time I'm clicking here, it's putting a straight line in between the points that I'm clicking. And so it's going to smooth the image out a little bit, and that's totally fine. That's a look that you can use. And so as I cut around, I'm going to do a rather quick job because I don't want you to get too bored. Obviously, it's not that exciting. And so I'm going to cut around and just being really cognizant of what's where, things I want to keep. You can also take things out if you want to. If you don't, if I don't care about that chin hair, I can just let it go. So as I move into this section, you can be very diligent getting each little spike. I am going to just gloss over it because, again, let's not take too much time. I'm going to come all the way off, and then I can just go around the outside because there's no part of the photo that's out here, and I don't need to worry about it. So I've selected everything that I want, and you can tell because it stopped making lines, I start and stop at the same place, and now I can cut and paste. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go hold Control or Command and hit C, and you'll see copy come up, and then Control or Command and then tap V, and bam, you can see I've got another one. And you know what? I'll put 2 down because I know I want to. Now, it didn't actually touch the original, and you can tell the original by turning it on and off. There's the one with the whole background. So I'm gonna turn that off just in case I need it. I'll keep it for now. These other ones are looking fantastic. I'm gonna hit the select button one more time. I'm gonna pull this up and look at those guidelines help me find the center, which is really nice. And then I'm going to click on the next one, still with the same tool. And what I'll do is I'm going to come up here and go flip vertical. Boom. So now it's flipped vertical. They're howling. One's going up, one's going down. But what I want to do typically with the traditional card is it gets flipped horizontal as well. So then it ends up looking like that. So they're howling to the different corners. And so you can just get really close, try and match it up as much as possible. If you're using more complicated imagery where it's not doesn't have a flat line, you might spend a little time here. You can also use little arrow keys to move it from side to side if you need to. And I'll just click away and see how that looks. So that's pretty good. That looks nice. To make some final adjustments to this part, you can remain with the Arrange tool and click on one, hold the Shift key, and click on the other one while you do that. And now I can resize both. So I don't have to resize each one separately. You wanna do this the smartest way possible. And look at that, using those guidelines, it gets me right to the center. Awesome. So now I've got this part finished, this image part. What else do I need? Cards also have a rank and a suit. So for the suit, what I'll do is it's just a shape. It's either a club or a diamond or a heart or a spade. I'm going to go with an easy one, but you can make whatever. And I'm going to use this poly lasso once again. I could be using this marquee tool to make a rectangle and just kind of turn it, or I can use the lasso. And so you know what? Let's use the marquee. That sounds like the easiest way. So for the suits, I want it on a different layer than my photos. So I'm going to come down here to the plus sign and hit empty. So it gives me an empty layer and it's sitting on top of all these other ones, which is great. If I needed to move this, I can slide it around. Whatever I need to do, you can adjust layers there. And then I want to make the diamond the approximate shape that I want. And again, I'm going to turn this once I've actually done it. So I'm going to make it about that big. And then I'm going to choose the color. So diamonds are typically red, but you can change them. It doesn't really matter. Everything is changeable by you. You can customize these cards in any way. You don't have to go Jack, Queen, King. You can make up new ranks and new suits as well. So I'm just going to click. What I did there was I clicked on the color. I grabbed my color, and then I used the bucket just to fill inside of that selection. So selections, we can see, can cut out a wolf, but it can also contain some color. Once I'm done with that, I can hold down Command or Control and hit D, and it will deselect. And now, finally, you may have guessed it, we've got the Arrange button, and you can see I'm back in that transformation mode where it's got the blue halo around what I've got, my shape, on this layer. And so I'm going to turn it. And I'm actually going to hold down Shift so that it gives me perfect degrees. So now that's perfectly 45 degrees, a nice diamond. And I'm going to place it in the corner where I think it should go. I can, and again, you can mess with this. You can have it down here. You could have it in the corner. I'm actually going to throw it here. That sounds interesting. Just like before, I've got this diamond done, but I want a second one. So I can, I'm on this layer, so I can go copy and paste. I've got 2 diamonds. I can slide it along here and match it up in the same space. Perfect. And finally, I just need my my rank. So this time I'm going to go with queen on here. I'm going to click on the text tool, and then I'll just click where I want it. And it will ask me if I want a text layer, and yes, I do. So it creates a text layer for me. And now I'm just going to get a capital Q. I'm just going to type the one thing in there. So there we go. I'm going to move this because I don't want it behind. And I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to put it somewhat in place. And for now, you know what? I'm going to look at some fonts. So I'm actually going to put this to the side because the fonts are up here. You change them, so I don't want to have it covered. And so there's so many different sorts of fonts here that you can choose from. And so you can spend so much time trying to figure it out, going through all these, and that's great. I'm just going to go with one of the first ones. I think this one looks cool. It's a free one. And so, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't. No, there we go. That's good. Now it changed. Sorry about that. Sometimes there's a little bit of lag time. You can change the color if you want. If you want to change, I'm going to change it to gray because the wolf is kind of gray. And you can change the size. So I'm going to click on the size. I'm going to make it bigger because I've got lots of space in the corner. And I think that'll look good. So once it's looking good, you can place that. And the name of the game, once again, is copy and paste. So I've got that same layer over here. And since I'm in this corner now, to make it symmetrical, I've definitely got to make it, I've got to flip it. And so I'm going to flip this thing into there, and I'll hold shift again just to make sure it's straight. Perfect. So this is all you have to do. So this is like a good project. This is a 3. To take it further, if you want, you can add other elements. For example, I'm just going to show you one quick one. I also searched up a picture of a moon, a full moon, because we know that wolves howl during the full moon. And so I'm going to go add to current. Once again, I don't want to create a new picture altogether. And look at that. The picture, this photo is huge. It's a really good quality picture, photograph. But I need to shrink it down. So I have to zoom way out and bring it down to a more manageable level, size. And then I'm just going to keep working with it until it is just how I want it. I like that. That's really close. And then what I can do here, here's another way you can get a background. So I just want the moon. I don't really want the black part. And so if I go over here to the magic wand, I can click on that and we'll see how well it does. So I'm on the right layer. I'm on my moon layer. I click on the black part and look at that. Most of it gets cut really nicely, but then it loses some things here. So if I selected it and hit delete, then that's what it would look like. It's kind of messed up. So that's not going to work for me this time. I'm going to go Command Z just to go backwards because I don't want to do that. Another thing I can use, though, the moon is a perfect circle or really close to it. What I can do is I can click here on the marquee and choose ellipse this time instead of rectangle. And what I'll do is I'll try and find the top and the side and get in. And once again, I'll hold shift because I do want a perfect circle. And I'll get it really close. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to just move my selection. There we go. It's pretty much where it needs to be. And then with this, just like the wolf, I can copy and paste. Once again, you do have to be in the right layer, so make sure you're there. And there we go. I've got a big moon. It's howling at the moon. Queen. We've got diamonds. This looks great. So once you're done, you've got everything in place and it looks just the way you want. To save this thing, you're going to go to File, Export, Quick Export Page as PNG, and then we'll ask you to name it. So I'm going to go wolf card, and it's going to the desktop, and I'll save. Perfect. So now I can take my PNG, my finished project, and submit that to the folder. Awesome. Good luck with your project.